everybody's online, and welcome everybody to the people here in Cesenatico. I welcome you on behalf of our mayor. Just a second, they will keep on refining the technical details. That's it. Okay. And as a director of the cultural and tourism sector of the municipality of Cesenatico, I am pleased to introduce the final conference of Adripromtour, putting you into a storyline. So a short story of what happened before this final event in the framework of, as an outcome of Arc Adriatica and Adripromtour activities, and a short outlook on the different sector of the museums and the different field of activities in which we could be available for further avenues, even in the framework of the new European programming. Yesterday, I just mentioned shortly that as an outcome of Arc Adriatica, a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, before the flooding, we had a very relevant event in cooperation with the local sector, Superintendenza of our Ministry of Culture. Because as you remember, some of you were partnered with us of Arc Adriatica, in the immaterial and cultural part of the projects, we were asked to design a database of the maritime heritage. And as a specific outcome of the project, we were asked to start the submission of an item for the recording in the National Register of Italian Cultural Heritage. As an outcome of this project, basically we, thanks with Davide, above all, we had a major success because for the very first time in Italy, we managed to start up what we call the 7 bis article process, that basically for the very first time we enrolled an immaterial cultural heritage, specifically the Latin sale, in the register, National Register for Immaterial Cultural Heritage. And all the local representatives of the Ministry of Culture, so the Sovrintendenza Ravenna, Sovrintendenza Forlì, and Sovrintendenza Rimini were here with us, along with the maritime authorities, so the Capitaneria di Porto. So it was a very big public event, and all of the communities that Davide and the municipality of Cesenatico have been built over the time to set up the different sectors of the museum that we'll be exploring shortly. We're here to celebrate this event, and along with the national authorities and even with the Croatian government, we are already on the way for further steps, going beyond the national level and trying to explore international recognitions for this field of activities. So this was one of the major outcomes of our European projects of the last few years. And in the next programming, we are already working. We have overall 5 applications ongoing. And it may be interesting for you, if you are looking for next new partnership in the new programming, to have a short overlook of the building and the museum as the institution where we are having this final event. Basically, the museum is structured in 3 different sections. So there is the traditional museum, so the building itself. You can see all the exhibit on the main room that is close to us. That is the museum, the traditional museum section. There is a second section that is the floating museum just in front of us, where you can see the boats there are public boats, so there are properties in the museum with the traditional big sails exposed. And beyond the bridge, so along the canal, beyond the bridge toward the sea, there is the third section, that is the sailing section, that is made actually of, is a public-private partnership, because the boats over there are private boats, and I will describe you shortly the procedures that we run every few years to set up that community. And in each of these frameworks, basically, we have new challenges, and it would be nice to have you as a partner to tackle together these strategical challenges. As for the building, we are working a lot on accessibility to provide new experiences for people with some reduced skills, as for mobilities or problem with the eyes or ears, and on the framework of digital innovation. So if you take a tour, you will see some new installations that David recently achieved, providing, for example, oral memories or video interviews where the fishermen explain the visitors how to cook and to prepare the fish. So basically, you have a full experience. So you see the items, the fishermen world, the boats, all the tools, and then you see the people providing you technical, useful suggestions to bring that fish in your daily life. And so basically, in the framework of European cooperation in this field, we do expect to work again on digital innovations, even to actually provide a new experience even for the community in the museum outside of the building itself. On the floating museum, in the Interreg program, we work a lot with the pilot actions, basically to work on the material heritage, so boat renovation mainly. But as the time goes by, we have a generational problem. So basically, the people that actually know how to sail those boats are getting older and older. So there is a new challenge, how to sail this boat and how to teach younger people to manage and to sail those kind of traditional boats. And on top of that, we are a tourist destination, and it would be nice as well to explore ways to provide this sort of a sailing experience to tourists in a sustainable way. And there are several administrative and technical barriers that could be explored together. So in this field, we are open. We are already working in the frameworks, for example, of Erasmus Plus, to exchange solutions or a way to foster knowledge transfer from the previous generations to the new one. And finally, to come to conclusion and to leave the stage to my colleagues to enter the Adripromtour Final event, I told you that on the third and last section of the museum, there is a public-private partnership. What does it mean? Basically, that is a section of the real harbor that has been given by the national authorities, so the Demanio Marittimo, that is the state, the national government, and the Maritime Authority, Capitaneria di Porto, has been given to the local government in the municipality, and the local government, through a public bid, a public call, basically, provide that space to the holders of traditional boats. So a commission comes over, conducts a check on the technical qualities of the boat, and if your boat is recognized as a traditional one, you're given the space for free in change of a few public services. So you need to arrange the sales every day and to participate with the local government to the institution's event. In this framework, it could be interesting, for example, to explore a Central Europe program or anyway, some cooperation program where we can exchange and share best practices on public-private bodies management, because basically in this framework we are looking for new ways to put these people together and to establish them as an association and to enhance the relevance as public servant in the community. So we have several ways to actually keep on working together, and we have already a few applications ongoing, and we do hope and expect to have more together. So this is the final event, but we hopefully do expect to have a new start from today.
New beginning.
New beginning, exactly. So thanks again for being here, and Iris, you can present the other.
I will. No. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, again.
Okay, so I hope the partners from Pula can follow anyway the presentation. So nice to see you again here. I will present you the activities in the frame of work package number 3, the clustering activities the municipality of Cervia was a coordinator of. As Iris said, it's important to refresh the objective of the project, which is to enhance the results of a list of standard plus and standard project implemented in the frame of Interreg Italy-Croatia to promote the main result at a higher level and to a wider public in view of new cooperation projects. Which are the standard and standard plus projects involved in Adripromtour? They are Atlas, Arca Adriatica, Air Culture, Remember, Revival, Underwater Muse, and Value. So we were analyzing the main results of those projects, which were all dealing with enhancement of cultural heritage and sustainable tourism in order to further build on such results. So the clustering activities were organized basically into 3 pillars, we could call 3 pillars. First, group of activity for the exchange and exploitation of project results. So we had to elaborate a cross-border inventory of main results of those Interreg Italy-Croatia Standard and Standard Plus. Then we analyzed main results of transnational cooperation projects. We collected best practices, of course, in the field of sustainable tourism and cultural enhancement. And we had to elaborate a so-called cross-border exploitation plan. I will tell you more in a while. This activity is strictly connected to the second pillar of this work package, namely the contribution to the next programming period. So we elaborated a report on needs identified at local level to further enhance the role of culture in the development of sustainable tourism and local economic and social development. We elaborated new project ideas and use our flagship paper. So those 2 groups of activities are strictly connected. And beside those activities, a huge effort was done in the frame of promotion of the results of the project involved in Adripromtour. So we organized, each partner had the task to organize thematic educations for stakeholders, study visits, manifestation, and then another huge effort on the virtualization of such cultural heritage for promotion purposes, plus participation into thematic seminars in order to promote such results at a broader public. Here you have the relationship between Pillar 1 and Pillar 2. So the first three documents were elaborated in order to define the cross-border exploitation plan. I would like to tell you that all the work implemented within this work package had two main guidelines. What are those guidelines? The new cooperation program, Interreg Italy-Croatia 21-27, and the user strategy. Plus the capitalization plan of Interreg Italy-Croatia, of the new program, of course. So everything we did here was completely in line with the indication of such documents, because we had to respond to the expectation of those guidelines. These activities allowed us to put a good basis for the elaboration of new projects ideas based on the capitalization of results of the Standard Plus and Standard Italy-Croatia projects I mentioned at the beginning. And altogether, those information allowed us to elaborate the so-called user flagship paper, namely some specific activities we should carry out in order to contribute to the user objective in the frame of sustainable tourism. Okay, so I will go quite quickly through the documents. The first document, the cross-border inventory of project results of the listed projects. We were analyzing the results framed within the problems and challenges and the needs of the partner which were involved in the project objective, the type of result, the areas of intervention which were aligned with the area of intervention of the new Italy-Croatia program, sustainability, transferability, resources used, strengths and weaknesses. So basically the document you will find and which will be uploaded in the project website will provide an insight per project result. Here I present you a very short summary. Maybe I won't describe it in detail. It is just to show you what kind of information you can find in the documents. Likely, the transnational inventory of project results was elaborated, so we were going through also other experiences the partnership gained in the frame of other cooperation programs like Central Europe, this is the case of culture recovery, or still cross-border, Malabarca 2, this is a Slovenia-Croatia program, or Rail to Land, which is an Erasmus Plus project. So we also analyzed the main results of such projects, all dealing with, of course, enhancement of cultural identity, a space to elaborate sustainable tourism products and proposals. You will find an executive summary in the document telling you which were the main problems and needs, the project objective, the type of results, the areas of intervention and strengths and weaknesses, and so on. And then a detailed description per result. We also assessed, analyzed best practices that the partnership gained in the frame of cooperation projects. Those best practices which could be also enhanced in the frame of new project proposals and that could also contribute to the user flagship paper. In this case, we analyzed the problem that this best practices wanted to tackle, the needs of the areas, the description of the practice. You will find the operational modality and implementation of the practice. What are the target group? The involved actors, the element characterizing the practices, the impact, and the possibility to capitalize and scale up this practice in the frame of the new programming period. So once again, it's a sort of list you will find there, but it is very detailed with a lot of information useful to prepare new project ideas. Here we go. Those three documents allowed us to prepare the exploitation plan of project result. This exploitation plan was elaborated taking into due account the capitalization plan of the Interreg Italy-Croatia program 21-27. So you would get information on the methodology we followed, which is a 5-step approach. The flagship project results, so we indicated the list of the most important results we analyzed and that could be capitalized in the future. The scalability of these results, so the action taken and the actions suggested to scale up such results. An important part is the communication and visibility, so a list of actions suggested because to communicate and give more visibility to such results allow to promote them to a broader public and build new opportunities of cooperation. And how, mainstreaming activities. So how all those results can be, let's say, elaborated, can be developed into further documents, strategies in order to be more exploited, let's say like this, and how to embed them within the user strategy. So here we have a link with the user flagship paper. Here I would like to provide you what are the main results of the project Adripromtour is capitalized and promoted. We have a virtual museum in the frame, elaborated in the frame of Arc Adriatica, experience tour, Lysian Adventure, elaborated in the frame of Atlas project, international cultural tourism route. This is the case of Ercultur. This is those two are joint pilot action. The first one is a new service for tourism. As it's a new service for tourism, the virtual museum for tangible and intangible cultural heritage in Port, elaborated in the frame of as a result of the Remember project. Then we have a tool, Digital Documentation Center of Lost Heritage of 20th Century of Revival project. Immersive underwater museum experience for a wider inclusion, Underwater Muse project. Virtual map of thematic paths for the archaeological path. This is the result of Value. Interpretation Center, Virtual Museum and Maritime Heritage Database. as a result of Malabarca, and app for rail travel experience as a result of rail to land. So as you see, the last two are results of other cooperation programs. Okay. As I said, along with this huge work, we were also assessing needs of the partners. How did we do that and why? We had to do that because if you want to prepare a new cooperation project, a new proposal capitalizing results, nevertheless, you have to analyze what are the gaps still in place in the territories. So what do we need to do to fulfill such gap and try to solve the problem the partners identified. So we were analyzing areas of intervention, mirroring the areas of intervention of the new Interreg Italy-Croatia program. And so we asked to partner to describe what are the problems still identified in such areas, which are the enhancement and promotion of material and immaterial cultural heritage, any problems and gaps to be tackled in the field of upskilling and reskilling and to generate more stable and sustainable jobs, cultural and natural routes, thematic networks, digitalization and smart solution. Still a huge problem is deseasonalization strategies and action, because the dependence on high season tourism is still very present, is still very evident in all the cooperation territories. So more work should be done in this frame. Stakeholder entry and community involvement, those are very important. It's a very important area of intervention, because when you have good cooperation and when you are able to involve stakeholder and community and work with them to inform about program, to co-plan actions and to co-design a project, then I think the legacy of the project is more evident and stable in the future. Here we go. So after that, so we have the project results analyzed, best practice analyzed, to be capitalized and to build on. We have further insights on the needs of the territories. This is the basis for us to elaborate new cooperation projects, bearing in mind the Interreg new cooperation program and the user strategy we have to stick with. So we proposed, we elaborated altogether 3 proposals in the frame of Interreg Italy-Croatia, in the frame of priority 4, culture and tourism for sustainable development, and one proposal we could submit in the frame of new IPADRION program. We had to link those proposals with the user flagships. So just very briefly, what are the user flagship we should stick with, let's say? It's air cultural routes, dealing with development of sustainable and thematic cultural routes, creation of innovative and diversified tourism products, cycling, walking, hiking, and sailing routes. Culturair, this flagship deal with the gathering of data in the field of tourism demand in the Adriatic-Ionian region. Cruiser, aiming at expanding the tourist season to all year round, and need for better management of cruise destination, both seaside and continental ones. So it tackles also rivers and lakes, so inland, let's say, water. Flagship 5, green mapping for the Adriatic-Ionian region, dealing with the sustainable and responsible tourism, measuring, mapping, managing and marketing, and let's say strengthening the use of ICT systems. I had to list those flagship because now in the project idea you will find all these inputs I was describing. So the first project idea is called SOS, Support the Off-Season. The project aim is to research and implement measures to reduce the tourism seasonality, which is a pressing issue along the Croatian and Italian coastline through action in collaboration with the local communities. So there you have a need of deseasonalize, which is in line with the user flagship. It's in line with the needs we identified and the needs identified by the Italy Croatia new program. And there we have the related project result we can capitalize in this project proposal. The secondary one is dealing with the Adriatic tradition and ecosystems in climate change condition. So this project aims at safeguarding the local food production from climate change and impacts, leveraging their potential for tourism, cultural activity and education, making them symbolic representation of the territory and catalyst for sustainable growth. Once again, you have the list of the need identified with allowed us to elaborate such idea, and the list of related project result we can capitalize. Third one, still in the frame of new Italy-Croatia program, is enhancing tourist experiences in nautical tourism, a sustainable approach for marinas and coastal destination. The objective here is to develop a tool to enhance tourism and cultural experiences associated to both trips, to emphasize the areas, the marinas as tourist destination, create the local tourism experiences, and prioritize authenticity, sustainability, and traditions. We have a correlation with the results of Remember and Arc Adriatica, and a set of needs identified in the frame of Italy-Croatia program. Last project we would propose for Interreg IPA Adrion is Right for Cultural Heritage. This one would work more on cyclo routes, connected them transnationally, and to with the main routes, and to enhance also the local micro routes, so to enable the cyclists to explore the cultural landmarks and the territory. So the link here with the flagship is user flagship is very evident. Here we would capitalize the result of Hercultur, Atlas, and Value, and some other projects. Last but not least, by the end of this huge work, we prepared the user flagship paper. So the user flagship paper described the contribution that Adripromtour would provide to Pillar 4 of user strategy. So to sustainable tourism, and more precisely in the field of diversification of the macro-region tourism product and services, and improving the quality and innovation of tourism offer. So you would find a description here on how all the results will contribute to the user flagship paper. Okay. So after the long and a bit boring description of all this analysis and elaboration of information, we have the, let's say, more lively activities, because as I said at the beginning, the third pillar of our clustering activities was represented by a huge number of activities involving stakeholders, and general public. So each partner organized thematic education for stakeholders to develop sustainable cultural routes. I just present you some screenshot of activities that the partners carried out. Study visit to raise awareness on cultural heritage based on the result of Standard Plus and Standard projects. And manifestation to further promote result, to further promote our cultural identity, and so on. So this is it from my side. I was a bit long, but we had we did really a lot of work in a very short time, because nevertheless this Adripromtour project is only, let's say, 1 year long project, so a lot of activity compressed. Thank you.
Okay. After this long and wonderful presentation, technical presentation, there is a non-technical presentation by me. Because to finally end this project, I thought, let's start from the beginning. And the beginning is, what is Adripromtour after all? Yeah, okay. Whenever I talk, there is someone listening to me, and I don't know why it's working this way. Maybe it's activated on my file. But anyway, what is Adripromtour? It's capitalization and clusterization project which uses information, communication, and dissemination for valorization of cultural and natural heritage, aiming at tourism promotion. And I see your faces, you're smiling, but you know that we all project managers spend 80% of our time speaking with words deriving from Latin, which ends with Asian. Otherwise, we cannot get no satisfaction. But, Simona already, and also Iris, already presented you what Adripromtour was under the point of view of capitalization, using other projects' best practices as a capital for new activities, for the exploitation of new activities and new projects. And clusterization, because all the projects which have been clusterized in Adripromtour were dealing with the innovation system to promote tourism, like augmented reality, digitization, or virtualization of the cultural and natural heritage in our territories. So let's start, let's get more acquainted with information, communication, and dissemination. As you know, information, it's spreading a general message to non-categorized target groups. And as one goal at the end, to raise awareness on project activities, project objectives, what is dealing with those activities, in order to create an interest on the public. While communication, and they're always kind of mixed and maybe confused, it's something different because communication deals with giving a specific message to stakeholders which are more interested in the sphere of your project activity. It's like, let's say, information. You say to your friend, hey, go to the cinema because there is Christopher Nolan last movie. You can be interested, you know it, and that's all. You can go, you cannot go. Communication is, hey, I know you like Christopher Nolan. You know that there is the movie and the theater. Let's go together, because it's as communication already kind of give a hint. It's making something in common. So it's, let's say, aiming at involving in the project activities all the stakeholders that we can put together. While dissemination, and Simona already gave a good example, is sowing the seeds for further capitalization of projects towards the policymakers, towards the authorities, in order to get your message and build on it new projects, new activities, and in the case of USAIR pillars, also methodologies. So what we have done during Adripromtour in terms of information, communication, and dissemination. For information, locally we organized each partner media campaign on local TV or radio, media conference, press conferences, and worldwide we managed and updated the 4 channels, social channels, which are Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, also the official web page of the project, in order to give people the information about what we were doing during project implementation. Dissemination, okay, Simone already said it all better than me. And for communication, we made something like educational workshop, also if it's intended to the sphere of education, but it's communication because we are giving a message to partners and stakeholders like local authorities, communities, and so on, which participated to our educational workshops and other events in order to get informed and create a network for the development of policy together. While promotion, which are the course of my, let's say, WP2 communication activities. Promotion, we intended to develop this activity under 2 main aspects, which was the participation to the thematic fairs, international thematic fairs, and we participated to 5. As Simona was reminding, in this short period, we managed to participate to 5, which are quite the most representative international fairs on tourism in Europe. So in TTG Rimini, at the beginning of November, together with BTESP in Venice, and then in January on Feature Madrid, and then in March, I guess, yes, ITB Berlin, and then finally Place to Go. What was the main topic? Surely the partners which participated had the chance to promote the territory. So giving information of their tourist destinations, giving information of the tourism products they could develop through agencies. But we also used it as a methodology to test the model of the virtual platform that we were going to implement. So for us, it was a very good experience Not for Consorzio.Europa because it's not a commercial entity which deals with like an operator in the sector. But on the contrary, we were more interested in testing the model of the platform. And I have to say sincerely that we get a lot of interest from many different stakeholders. Economic operators like hotels, like travel agencies that understood the potentiality of the VR digitalization of their products or their service. So it was for them kind of impressive to understand how further this technology can go through this specific topic of tourism promotion, but also the administration, which kind of understood the way they could attract more people in their territories, giving more information in their visitor centers or premises. And this is ICT, again, information and communication technology. We know and we see how much information and communication technologies are now influencing our decisions, our tastes. The BITESP in Venice, it's one of this example. It's a fair which is dedicated just to the innovative tools and solutions addressed to the promotion of the tourism sector. BITESP stands for Borsa Internazionale del Turismo Esperienziale. They need experience. There is a poll that recently a big company in Germany, I guess Statistica, it's called, made towards a large number of people, asking them, would you be interested in programming your future tourism activities or going somewhere using VR technologies? 63% said yes, absolutely. I want something that helps me to plan my my travels, my services which I'm going to use there. Not paying. 63%, if it's free, I would like to get more informed. 13% replied yes, also if paid. So it's kind of 73%. 27% maybe didn't understand the question, or they are boomers, I don't know, but they don't use this technology. And what is this technology that we implemented? As you may already know, but for the benefits of people who is following us on Facebook live streaming, but is not watching our presentation, we created the platform in VR. And we are now collecting all the contribution from all partners. The VR platform is based on specification, HT5ML. It's something which describes simply that this structure that we created can go worldwide because it can be exploited via web, so it reaches every corner of the world, via desktop, via laptop, via smartphone, mobile phones, but also with technology tools that we use, which are the headsets that we brought here. It can go on every, it works on every kind of platform, Windows, Mac, Unix, anything, and all kind of browsers from Opera, Google Chrome, also if a bit dated. It's a sort of virtual guide, because as you can see, in the landing page of, let's say this is Teramo, I took the picture of Teramo. We can have, apart from the drone view, an audio guide, a text guide, a menu for the points of interest, and some other tools which leads you to the location itself. And activating the voir, especially no, on the mobile or on the PC, you can browse it and move it all around in 360 degrees using the mouse or using your finger, while on the headsets, you have just to move your head to feel immersed in that location and leave it like you were there. Listening to audio guide, reading text guide, but also looking at photo gallery, video gallery in 2-dimension or also 3-dimension. And during the participation to fair, we also collected feedbacks from the people to understand to which extent they lacked this technology. And they were giving us also hints like you can personalize creating profiles so that once I enter I can save my favorite places. So there were very good ideas, but also, and this is one of the things that tourism operators were more interested in, also for managing booking. So managing booking for structure like Alitalia, which is showing the airplane simulating a flight and showing to the people which still has to buy the tickets in which way he will fly, with the waitress, which are the services that you can book, click, and you have the ticket, you have the service you requested. The same for hotels, showing the rooms, because you know when you go to booking, the first thing that you do, you go to the pictures, especially better if from the users and not from the owners, which are showing how are the rooms, if you like it, furniture and so on. You put this technology on, you can sit already on the bed in that room, and you can click and book rooms and services like guides, like excursions, like everything you like. So for everybody, this is something which will surely boost the tourism sector in the next days. As one of the tools, there can be also maybe for digitization of heritage, cultural and natural heritage, also augmented reality. It's another kind of tool that can be boosted. And this cluster that we created, uniting all the projects, were kind of testing also the possibility that we are giving to this kind of technology in boosting the tourism sector. So everything can be incorporated and included in this platform also in terms of augmented reality, information, better information, because it's open source and it can be enriched with all kinds of plugins that give you more and more possibilities to be on the metaverse. I will show you, if I already opened, this one. It's still in a developing phase, and we have just 2 contents by now. The way it would be structured. So we have the first landing page showing our territories. These are the all eligible territories under Italy, Croatia. We have our partners signed as a point of interest on the map, and you can enter inside, let's say, Castella, because Castella hasn't still seen. You enter, and you are inside Castella. And you can browse it 360 degrees, entering, listening to English and Croatian. Now I don't know if audio is activated, but there is the audio. Maybe it's here very low, I don't know. Ah, sorry, maybe I took it away.
The Kastilats. Did you know that photos of Kastilats have travelled the world? The production of the global Game of Thrones phenomenon chose Kastilats
Also
to
the
represent
information.
the city of Bravos as one of the locations for the filming of season 5, whose narrow streets
And browsing all around with all the pictures that the partners provided us. Getting back to the map and going somewhere else, like for example in Italy, and switching, easily switching the languages from one to another to
Nominata originariamente dai Fenici come Petrut, con il significato di luogo elevato,
nothing, let's say, nothing can be more pleasant for us, not showing this kind of technology, but letting you experience this technology. And for this purpose, we, again, brought the headsets, which are the best way, obviously, to exploit this kind of contents, because it gives you the immersive experience, which is called the wow experience. So whoever is the, let's say, one, let's call it sacrificing candidate, one candidate. Is it visible or there's something like black screen?
Okay, okay.
So watching around and pointing to those circles, you can enter the location and browse it looking around.
The Roman domus, dating back to 1st century BC, has a large rectangular peristyle with the walls made in opus incertum, irregular work, technique. Columns from bricks covered with red
È
and
come
white
per andare
limestone.
fuori adesso.
The impluvium, a drain pool to gather rainwater, is made using opus ligatum, spikework. It is decentralized in relation to the peristyle, which has another 3 areas adjacent. On the pavement of a large central area, there is a white mosaic with a black frame.
Ora si scarica dai. Ne, ima znakove.
The square is situated in the oldest part of the city and takes name from the church of St. Anna of Pompeii.
Come si va fuori?
If you look at your feet, there is a logo. Looking for some seconds on your feet, it goes back.
Sorry, if you agree, we can now conclude this final conference, this part of this final conference, if you agree.